I just want to bring to the attention of Kenyans that they have seen it themselves. The guidelines that were issued by His Excellency the President, requiring that anybody who want to have a political meeting or any Barasa must write to OCS for approval, and that that must be done within 3 days. The 3 days leeway that were given is to give room for the OCS to be able to send that request to the office of the President, so that they can draft a letter for him or her and read out. You've seen that the OCS of Shianda and Matungu, respectively, have declined our request to have a fundraiser for the church today. The reason they are giving is that we will not be able to enforce social distancing. How do you tell that a particular group will be unable to enforce social distancing before the meeting itself? At the same time, the OCS in Bondo granted Raila Amolo Odinga permission to have a meeting where the participants never observed social distancing. Gideon Moi was in Baringo somewhere issuing biscuits and juices and water to Kenyans who live in that particular area without following social distancing. And I want to tell the government that this country has spent a lot of money to form commissions to be able to look into previous injustices. And I want to tell them that the reason why one community hates the other is because of the activities of the government of the day, like what we are witnessing. Selective application of justice, selective implementation of the laws and the regulations breeds ethnic hate. Harassment of political leaders allied to the deputy president or who doesn't belong to your political fold breeds ethnic hate, ethnic divisions. And the reason why people fight, kill each other to occupy the presidency is because we have made to believe that when you are the president, you are very powerful. You can seclude a particular community. You can begin to harass and intimidate the leaders of this country who do not come from your background, who do not come from your tribe, who do not come from your political fold. And these are things that makes one community profile the other community to the point of arming themselves, to the point of feeling disadvantaged. And I want to call upon the international community that they should not wait until this country bans before they can come in. Because what we are seeing now today is a precursor to ethnic violence. It's a precursor to violence where one community will feel enough is enough, where a certain political class will feel enough is enough, because you cannot just in broad daylight enforce the law selectively by allowing one group of people to carry on with their political activities and block the other group of Kenyans from going to the church to worship, from going to the church to give back to God, to participate in the fundraiser of God. Today, as we speak, the service in Mumias is going on uninterrupted. The various churches that were to come together and do Harambee have come together. They are doing their Harambee as we are speaking today. But the meeting, the visit by His Excellency the Deputy President, is what made the OCS write to us saying that that meeting is not allowed. So I want to call upon the international community that they should not wait to come and procure peace. They should not wait to come and bring and put us together when we have reached that level that we cannot speak with each other and that we are only talking to each other. The time is now. I also want to call upon the ICC, the International Criminal Court, to send their agents into this country so that they can begin to investigate some of the activities of government officials currently being implemented. Because where will this country be if we continue under this kind of selective administration of justice for the next 10 years? This is a very bad example. While we agree that the instruments of power are in the hands, the instruments of power of this country are not in the hands of one person, but are in the hands of various arms of government. The judiciary has a role to play, in which we are moving to court to be able to quash the directive that were issued by His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, curtailing the freedom of association of Kenyans selectively. And we will want to safeguard the independence of the judiciary and our whatever cost. That is the last line of defense. Parliament also has another instrument of power which would want it to be exercised independently. We only have one arm of government in this country that has the responsibility to legislate, to enact, and even approve various policies through what we call delegated legislation, and that is the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya. So we want the National Assembly and the Senate and the judiciary to come in now, not tomorrow, so that this country can go back to constitutionalism, so that everybody living in this country can begin to walk, to breathe, and talk within the confines of the laws that governs this country. Today, it's William Samoei Ruto who is targeted. Tomorrow, it could be somebody else. Of course, we know yesterday it was Raila Amolo Odinga who was targeted. And we want to say that enough is enough. To the Hustler Nation, we are very many. In every village we have representatives of the Hustler Nation. In every market we have thousands of hustlers who toil from morning to evening, engaging in meaningful activities that will enable them put food on the table for their children. Wherever they are, they have seen what is happening today. And if these matters are not going to be called to order, that if the police will continue to deny us permits, if they will continue to declare our peaceful meetings, including church functions, unlawful and they are not allowed, which is against the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, then the Hustler Nation is also not going to allow anybody to hold any meeting within the areas of our jurisdiction. It pains me as a person when we are denied an opportunity to go and give God a reason why we should be blessed by sacrificing the resources that we have and to stand with the men of God. Every meeting that has been presided over by the deputy president, he never arranges that meeting by himself. We never sit down as a group and decide that we are going to this particular area, but we receive invitations from men of God, from leaders of those various groups, to go and stand with them. And I'm at the pains to explain why the police decides to declare our meetings unlawful while allowing the meetings that have no economic definition, that has no economic latitude, that has no economic importance, but only aimed at spewing ethnic hate, balkanizing our various groups that exist here by going to abuse so and so. But they are allowed to proceed with their meetings. So Kenyans should not allow that the government of the day spends any money for a referendum, that for changing of the constitution, if we cannot implement whatever that we have today. I want to ask Kenyans a question as I finish. We have been told by Raila Odinga that peace can only exist in this country through a referendum. That ethnic divisions can only be cured in this country through a referendum. That tribalism can only be killed through a referendum. He has continued to say that inclusivity can only be defined through a referendum. Exclusivity can only be cured through a referendum. I still want to ask Raila Amolo Odinga, that do we still need a referendum to ensure that the police complies with the articles of the Constitution that safeguards the freedom of association, that safeguards the freedom of choice by Kenyans on which political fold they should support? Do we still need a referendum for Kenyans to go to the election and they elect a leader of their choice through a level playing field in terms of everybody being given an opportunity to go before Kenyans and tell them what is it that he will do to them that will make him to be most qualified to receive the overwhelming support for that particular position that that man or woman will be looking for. Is this the Kenya that we want? From the time that we got independence, we have gone through various phases of constitutional changes, of soul searching in terms of what is the best for this country. And I want to bring a new phrase in this country that it has come to pass that those people who participate in the liberation of the country, those people who participated in the second liberation of this country, who participated in the enlargement of our democratic space, they are the same people today at their sunset years who are reversing those gains, and they are taking us back to those days, to the dictatorial days. They are simply erasing their legacies, and the Kenyans will never forget, that we will remember that those Kenyans who participated in the enlargement of a democratic space are the same people who connived, who formed associations and erased the same gains that this country has made. So what is the way forward? The way forward in this country, everybody understands that there is nothing that has come for free. Anything that has come to assist this country has been found through fighting, and the fighting must be by Kenyans themselves. And that wherever Kenyans are, young or old, men and women, they should come forward and say no to this kind of punitive and the selective implementation of justice. I'm not asking Kenyans to go to the streets, but they must raise their voices wherever they are. The civil society, you must continue to raise your voices. The international community, you must continue to raise your voices. This country is at her lowest moment. And I want to ask those people who were praying yesterday that the ideals of the Bible and the ideals of God are made in a way that you cannot blow hot and cold. When you blow hot and cold on matters of God, you allow more demons to come into you, and you will be a more bad person than when you were before. The heavens will respect you if you continue to stand on the side of the devil and balagnize this country. The heavens will respect you for that position. But the heavens will never respect you if you are the kind of a person that you are oscillating between the gates of hell and the gates of heaven. When you are oscillating in between, you must have a position, and we must agree that this country is on a very dangerous lane, and that must be arrested before it gets out of hand. And I want to pray today, being a Sunday, that the good Lord who spoke with Kofi Annan, may his soul rest in peace wherever he is, that the good Lord who spoke with the late Benjamin Mkapa, may his soul rest in eternal peace, should speak to any other African leaders who are out to cultivate Pan-Africanism. That the good Lord should speak with the world leaders who are cultivating good democracies, who work day and night for borderless Africa, who are working day and night for borderless world. We cannot breed, and we will never breed borderless Africa if in our own country as Kenya we deny people an opportunity to meet and discuss on things of high economic value. So we as the hustler nation, we are going to retreat to be able to find out which way for this country. But I can assure the Kenyans, I can assure our supporters that they should not get worried. We have the intelligentsia to understand, to review the contents of the various government directives that are punitive, and we have the intelligentsia of mitigating, of circumventing, of implementing other ways of doing things so that our vision for this country cannot be curtailed. Our vision for this country, our plans for this country shall never be curtailed by anybody, because they come from our vision, from our brains, which we have. So it's only a matter of time that we will re-strategize. We will continue doing what we have been doing. We will continue speaking with the Kenyans. We will continue assisting Kenyans, assisting Mama Mboga going forward. We have already given instructions to our lawyers to go to court and ask for court's interventions in quashing these punitive guidelines that are issued, not for all Kenyans, but for Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and the Tangatanga movement. You don't make laws for one group of people, but you make laws and issue guidelines for posterity of a country and a nation. not laws that goes to curtail one particular political front. These issues of opening schools, I want to tell Matiang'i, the Magoha, to open all schools. Opening schools in phases is punitive, is not a good idea. All the children must go to school. Everybody in this country, including small children, even those grade one student pupils, they know that COVID-19 was a scam. This country, it was just declared for certain individuals to siphon money, mainly to fight COVID-19. And the fact that we do not have money, that all the money for COVID-19 was stolen, schools should be opened, and anybody who goes ahead to say that parents should buy their own masks, while fully aware that the free masks that were donated by Jack Ma were stolen and sold. I want to tell DPP, asset recovery, the ESCC, and the courts that they should do a meeting very, very quickly before those criminals siphon money from their accounts. That money should be brought back so that it goes to purchase masks to be given for free for all students in this country. But above all, schools should be opened immediately. I have made it clear in my constituency that in Bungoma, that those primary school children, those secondary school children who have gotten pregnant, and those who will get pregnant, I'll put them in a bus and take them to Jogo House in the office of Makoha. Those should be the children of the Ministry of Education. Because it's through their directive that schools are closed that has led to those children being idle and getting pregnant and giving birth to children. So wherever CS Makoha is, we should know that now for the first time in this country, we have children who do not belong to an individual, but they belong to the Ministry, State Department of Education. So you must be prepared, begin to plan on where you're going to take them, whether you will have a boarding school where you put them. That is your own business. We are not going to allow that these children continue to live at home and they continue to engage in immoral activities because parents alone cannot manage to take care of the children. That's why the fabric of society entails that schools play their role, the community plays their role, the parents plays their role, the government plays their role, and us political leaders also plays our role insofar as the moral well-being of the children of this country are concerned. So for the last 6 or so months, the Ministry of Education has abdicated their role by closing down their schools while they were fully aware that COVID-19 was a pure scam for certain people to siphon money meant to fight COVID. If the head of state said, if I have wronged anyone, please forgive me, he will need to have mentioned what wrongs he has done. I'm a Catholic by faith. I'm a Roman Catholic by faith. When I go before the Father to confess, I must be clear that, Father, I have engaged in adultery with so-and-so, that, Father, I drank so much alcohol yesterday, and so-and-so, that, Father, I stole someone's property, blah, 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 So you must be clear for the apologies to be accepted. What wrongs have you done? Did he issue the directive that we should be blocked from meetings? Was it that's something that made him to apologize? Did he, he should simply say that he has failed to apply his common sense. Common sense entails that when you are uniting the country, you don't bring a neighbor from the left and you throw away a neighbor from the south. You don't bring a neighbor from the north and you throw away a neighbor from west. You bring everybody together. So I think what we need to do, maybe this country needs a second handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, because it has become very clear that every day you read newspapers, they are very alarming. Headlines are very alarming. It's like today if William Ruto decides to leave this country and go and live in the US, it's like all media houses will be closed. Now we will have nothing to report. Yeah, and that all government machinery will also cease to be operational, because some are specifically formed to block us. But we are not going to be in this country forever. Me, have made it clear I want to be a member of parliament for about 10 years. Then I will get saved and become a bishop. I will go to preach somewhere in a church. And so is William Ruto. We will exit the politics of this country and go to do something else. We will have other leaders who will come in. So we must make laws for posterity of the country, not to gang a few individuals.